Hello, St. Augustine. This is Mayor Joe Boles.
And this is Ken Bryan, former county commissioner and former candidate for mayor.
Yeah, and if you're watching this, you know that I'm going on to the general election, and Ken's going to jump in and help us.
Absolutely. I think the mayor is the right person for the job. He has the experience, and that really counts in this election because we need to keep things moving forward, and that's what really matters is with our city here.
Well, we sure appreciate it, Ken. We're glad to have you on board.
Absolutely.
We'll have some chats on some good things.
Absolutely. I think we're looking forward to moving forward, doing some great things here.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, folks. Well, Ken, thanks for being willing to help out with the campaign. I know you spent a lot of time in the neighborhood. What are some of the things you were hearing that people were saying about what we need to take a look at?
Well, it's very typical things that people have been talking about. You know, they talk about infrastructure, they talk about the streets not being repaired, they talk about the commission and the mayor not actually communicating with them. And a lot of it's just basically misinformation or not having complete information. So I think those are the kinds of things they're talking about. In fact, for folks over in West Augustine, you know, they're obviously concerned about continuing to move forward with the infrastructure over there. Of course, you know, a couple of weeks ago we had the groundbreaking over there, which was significant. And I think they want to make sure that that kind of thing and that kind of momentum is going to continue. You know, I learned a lot from the campaign myself, you know, particularly going to the forums and all, because I found out, you know, some of the things that are actually occurring that I wasn't even aware of. And I think that's significant. So those are the main issues, I think. You know, the folks over on, you know, when you start moving west of Route 1, you know, over in that corridor over there, you have individuals who feel as though they've been left out. And then when you get on this side of the bridge, into the Anastasia corridor, if you will, a lot of the businesses feel as though that they're being left out as well. So I think communication is one of the main issues we need to talk about. You know, we've talked about doing some things in that respect, you know.
Well, you know, it's a new world, which is kind of exciting. Communication's been one of the struggles of most small towns that I keep coming across anytime I go to places where they're at the mayor meeting. You used to rely on the local newspaper. That's where you got all your information. They'd have news and notes of the meetings, you know, they'd have a write-up about everything. And, you know, I understand that the media can't do that all the time anymore. So social media, websites, email, things like that are going to probably have to carry a little more of it. We have a news and notes kind of thing that comes out from the city, but that needs more work. So you're exactly right, communicating. And as far as access to the mayor, you know, I work every day, and most of us do, that serve in political life, especially in St. Johns County, or especially in St. Augustine. But I want everybody to know, if you see me in a restaurant, come on up and speak. You see me in the grocery store, I'd like to talk to you. You see me picking up my dry cleaning, it's okay to grab me. Call me at the office, 824-4278. That's fine too. We'll make time to get together. So having people reach out is good, and I think probably reaching out a little more myself could be helpful. Certainly during the campaigns, we go door to door, we hear about a lot of things, and that's something that can probably continue. You know, I don't know if they'd be alarmed if in January the mayor came and knocked on their door, but we could see.
Well, you know, I've been out since, you know, the primary, and I've still been talking to folks. You know, for example, the folks over in West Augustine, they're concerned about which way things are going to go and whether or not there's going to be that continued momentum. They want to make sure that you're still committed to helping with the infrastructure over there. And of course, we have infrastructure all over the city. So I think, again, it's the communication of helping people understand how the dollars flow and what dollars actually can be allocated. You know, a couple little notes that I had made to you before is that I'd be willing to participate in a working group or some type of a committee. I like to call them working groups because you get so many committees. But I spoke to Henry Dean this morning, who's the former director of the Water District Management for Northeast Florida as well as South. And Henry's committed as well as I. We both have connections over in Tallahassee and Washington, D.C. with the federal and state governments. And we think that we can add a lot of value as far as being able to chase down some of the grants that can help with not only infrastructure in West Augustine, but other areas in the city. With this being the oldest city and the ancient city, we think there should be some revenue out there that we can go after. And we're willing to step forward and help the commission, help the mayor to actually go after those and talk to the representatives.
Well, that's wonderful, and I appreciate that, because as we tap the talent in our community, it makes it a lot easier when people say St. Augustine. Oh, I know St. Augustine. You guys are the oldest city in America. Their eyes perk up, and so our notoriety, and as we continue to rise in world recognition, it makes it a lot easier for somebody to say, yeah, you guys need some grant money, we're right there with you. And so any of that can be helpful. Specifically, though, I want to make sure you know, because you worked long and hard on this West Augustine water and sewer project, that I and the other commissioners are committed to this. We've got money in the budget for this year going forward, and looking at our rate structure so we can make sure that the most frail and fragile aren't visited with the biggest burden. Economic development is something we've been working hard at since 2006, and economic development occurring in West Augustine is a real priority and will stay a priority. I want to make that pledge to the public. It's going to stay a priority of mine. I think that we serve all around the city, and West Augustine is there. It's not just because it's going to be profitable, because it's not going to be profitable probably, but it's the right thing to do.
It's a long-term investment.
Yeah, it's a long-term investment, and I've got plenty of those. There's wrong with a long-term investment, so make sure that you know. And I think the committee idea is a real good one. I know the CRA, West Augustine CRA, has a lot of area to cover.
Right.
This key issue should be addressed by a strategic committee made up of people that are interested in it.
Okay. Well, on another note, I mean, I'd like to, thank you and your wife and your supporters for actually running a very clean and a very gentleman-like campaign, if you will. That's not always the case in many campaigns, and we were all very cordial on the campaign trail and on, and I really appreciate that. And that was one of the reasons why I also had talked to my wife, and we concluded that it was in the best interest of us as well as the city to continue to move forward with someone that has the experience of being able to continue to move the city forward. All due respect for the candidates and all, but the background that I had as a county commissioner working on several committees and boards and things of this nature, I think are significant in order to keep the ball moving. You have that experience, and you know exactly how the city's working and how things are going. You've already started that momentum, and I think it's important that we continue that momentum going. So I'm going to do everything that I can, and my wife will as well, to make sure that we can keep that momentum going with you in the office as mayor. And folks have asked me, they said, Ken, who do you support now? What are you going to do? And I says, well, I'm going to go with the best person I think is the right person with the integrity that's necessary and needed in order to move forward. I've learned a lot on the trail. I mean, that night when you started bringing up all the books and all the documents and you start talking about the infrastructure here and these are where the dollars are going, I just kind of kicked back and I said, well, I'm not sure why I'm running here. It seems like we're doing a lot of stuff already. But I mean, I'm very truthful, because I think that the communication part is important, and we need to get that message out to folks. We need to let them know what you're doing and what the commissioner's doing and what the city manager's doing. Because there's a lot of stuff going on.
And you're right, and I'll tell you, it's almost where municipalities and governmental entities need their own PR person. And because St. Augustine is just clicking on all cylinders. Our infrastructure, our traffic issues, our parking, I mean, we're addressing everything in ways that we want to make sure everybody has a seat at the table.
Right.
And nobody's good idea doesn't get a good look. Because, we're only 5 commissioners. I'm only 1 vote. We rely on people like you with experience in government to help us figure out which way to go. And when we're the St. Augustine surrounded by the county, your county experience is invaluable in helping us keep moving forward. So that's probably a good idea. Yeah, let's make a note of that. PR.
Yeah, we'll do that. PR person and a good. I think here again we talked about a website or something of this nature in order to get the right information out there and the correct information out there and get it out there on a regular basis. Other than some of the blogs that are out there, which are not doing any of us any favor. So we need to get the real truth out there as to what's really going on in our community and what the commission is doing. I mean, I see now that there are a lot of things occurring, and I'm very supportive of keeping that momentum going and keeping those things occurring. I'm willing to help any way that I possibly can.
Well, thanks. When you were out there Do you hear any excitement about the 450th?
It's heard some excitement, but here again, I think it's a communication issue. People are more apt to talk about the dollars that are being spent because they're, here again, they don't have the all of the information that's necessary to keep them correctly informed. I think with that PR person, a new website of some type in order to make people aware where they can go there and get the information on a regular basis. I think they're getting more excited about it. I think, you know, I'm going to talk more about it. I mean, you know, obviously, I'm for the 450th.
Sure.
So when people start to get more information about how they're going to be affected, I think they'll get more excited about it.
The exciting thing for me is that because we were so hopeful that the Congress or the federal government on some level would help fund this like they have Jamestown and other celebrations, but these are just different times we're in, so we've kind of had to go it on our own. And the exciting thing is that the money used for the 450th all comes from tourism dollars. Tourism dollars that are restricted and can't be used for paving or infrastructure.
Right.
So we've got to use it on this, and hopefully in the future we can figure out some ways to use it on historic preservation after next year. So I like being able to tell people this 450th is a party and a celebration and an historical event that we get to have paid for by our visitors. It's not on the residents. So I'm going to just sit back and enjoy it, I'll tell you.
Well, I think that's what we should do. And here again, you know, making people aware of that it's not just next year, but it's also beyond that. That it's a continual thing that people will be able to benefit from and, you know, continue to come to the city and continue to enjoy what the 450th is all about.
Well, I sure appreciate the time you put in for us.
Absolutely. I appreciate you coming over to my home here.
That's right. We are in the home of Ken Bryan right here on Pelican Reef, and it's a lovely home, and we're glad he invited us in.
And normally I'm out in my garage, but, you know, I took a break to come in the house.
Yeah, he's a car aficionado.
Thanks a lot, Joe. It was a real
Thanks,
pleasure.
Bert. Thank you.
Sure.
Appreciate it. Now I want to see that lift.
Okay.